Hello, and welcome back to the Grunt Perspective. In this video, I'm going to talk about first line gear. I've already done a video on first line gear. It was like one of the first videos I ever made. It was terrible. Don't watch it. But if you don't know what first line gear is commonly referred to as things that you are carrying on your uniform, in your pockets. It can extend out to a fanny pack or a belt if that's going to be something that you never take off. But in this case here, I'm talking about stuff that's in my pockets on my uniform. So to get into a little bit of why I'm even talking about this, there's a lot of stuff that infantrymen carry, or things that are kind of like required for the job other than magazines and grenades. Things like multi-tools, compasses, flashlights, admin equipment, things like that you just kind of need to have. But if you put all that stuff on your plate carrier, it can get crazy bulky and very heavy. So previously, I've always kind of split the load between I carried some of this stuff on my plate carrier and I carried some in my pockets anyway, but I'm now trying to get to carrying everything in my pockets that doesn't assist in, like people say, if it doesn't contribute to killing people, if it doesn't contribute to saving people, and if it doesn't contribute to communications, signaling, or navigation, then it doesn't need to be on your plate carrier. That's what, I think that's a good baseline, and that's kind of what I use to start doing this. But I don't think about it too hard. I just kind of looked at my plate carrier. I took every little piece of crap that I had in there that wasn't meant to carry a magazine, a grenade, a radio, or like my ATAC and things like that. I pulled it all out, and then I was like, all right, what do I have here that I can put in my pockets? I decided to keep all the stuff that pertains to signaling on my plate carrier. Things like air panels, my chem lights, smoke grenades, things like that. All that stays on my plate carrier. Everything that doesn't pertain to that went into my uniform. I'm kind of new to this. As I said, I've been kind of half doing this for a long time, but now I'm trying to really go all the way with it. So this is kind of Gen 1. I'm sure it's going to change, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I wanted to make a video about it. So we'll start here on my blouse. We'll start with what's on my wrists. I'm always wearing a watch, usually a dumb watch. I have Garmin's and things like that, but I'm usually wearing a dumb watch in the field, just to tell time. And then on my other wrist, I keep a Sunto wrist compass. Very useful thing. I don't use it all that much for navigation. I use it to get my cardinal direction, and then once I've shot at azimuth with my other compass, it's easy to just like make sure I'm on the right track with this, or super easy to get like a general bearing. If you've ever been briefed in an order before that when you get out of the vehicle, your unit is going to take the western sector of security, and then you get on the ground and you're like, where's west? Because you've been in a vehicle for 18 hours. That's a good thing to do. You just pull out, look, and then you're instantly oriented on what's going on. So that's what's on my wrists. I usually just keep that, in a pouch or something until I put all of my stuff on, as with all of this stuff. On to the shoulder pockets, or before I move on, I'll say that I've set this up so my system is not going to change if I'm wearing my camis or frogs. So I don't have things that are going in ankle pockets, and I don't have things that are going in chest pockets. I wouldn't put things in my chest pockets anyway, because it's going to be under my plate carrier. But yeah, it's going to work with either way, and you should do the same. So get on my shoulder pockets here. My left shoulder pocket, I keep my lensatic compass. And I've always kept a compass here. The chances are you probably have too, because your unit wants this to be on your person and tied to you, as they do with every other piece of equipment that comes out of the armory. So just tied to the buttonhole right there. This is obviously used for navigation, for fires and other things like that. I've always found it very comfortable in a shoulder pocket. I forget it's there. A lot of guys put compasses inside of grenade pouches. That's great in training, but where are you going to put your compass when you actually have frags? That's all I'm saying. So, yep, we'll move that off to the side. Got the compass, the wrist compass, and then in my right shoulder pocket, I keep a cami paint compact. Always got to have that with you. And then I keep a battery pack here. I got 4 AA's, 4 1, 2, 3s. I've always carried batteries. I've usually carried them on my kit in a pouch or something like that. But this works really well because the weight of the batteries and the compass are kind of equal to each other, and they balance each other out on my sleeves there. But that's all I keep in the blouse. So that off to the side. Now we can go on to the pants. So first things first, I usually wear a belt kind of like this. I don't know what this is. It's a webbing belt. It's a rigger's belt, I guess, if you want to call it that. I just like belts like this because the ones that we get issued, the regular ones, they tend to spin all over the place. With this belt, this doesn't seem to be a problem. I've been wearing it for a long time, and it works out great. It's a little heavy, but whatever. So just a regular belt up in the top here. If I'm using like my pistol belt or just my battle belt, if you want to call it that, this is the inner belt that I'm using. This is the Shaw Concepts, the U Super V2 belt to go with their outer belt. But yeah, this is a very comfortable belt. If you are using a pistol belt, and if you're using a pistol belt, then I would highly advise you get some sort of padded inner belt, because if you're not, like just the scuba webbing belts, at least with me, they were very painful, not very, but they were uncomfortable under a rucksack like hip belt. So the padded belt, that's not a problem. I haven't got to use this too much, but I can tell that this isn't going to be a problem. So that's the belt that I would be wearing if I wasn't wearing this one. Onto the side here, I just keep my gloves on a carabiner. I like to keep my gloves on the side because if you keep them up in the front, they usually get dirt and stuff in them. Or you keep them on the back. You can keep them on whichever belt loop you want, but I like to keep them on the side. Good thing to have gloves. They're sometimes they're on my hands, and when they're not, I just want to have a place to put them. I guess you could shove them in a cargo pocket. It wouldn't be a big deal, but I like to have them in their own little spot. Hip pockets. Left, I have a flashlight. This is a cheap, like a Streamlight flashlight. It's like $35 with a pocket clip. A flashlight is a thing that a lot of guys carry, and it's a useful thing to carry. But like I was talking about in the beginning, is it really something that I absolutely need? No. All right. If I want to carry it, then I'm going to put it in my uniform. Having a pocket clip is nice. When you're storing flashlights, just make sure that you're unscrewing your tail cap so you can click the button as much as you want and the light won't turn on, just so you don't have a potential NDC. Then as I screw the cap back on, now the light works. But yeah, I keep that there. My other hip pocket, I keep a multi-tool, just a Leatherman Wave. Lots of reasons to have a multi-tool. Every infantryman should have one. I've had this one for years, and I've broken it because I was doing things you're not supposed to do with a multi-tool. 100% my fault. I'll have to get a new one soon. But yeah, having a pocket clip is great. I like pocket clips because it keeps it up and high and in my pocket, and it doesn't go in there and turn sideways, become annoying. But yeah. So that's there. Onto the back. Right in the Rain book, of course, full size. Always need to have that, even in garrison, doing whatever. if you're in the military, you're fully aware that you need to have a pen and paper on you all the time. So that has been there probably as long as I've been a Marine. In the other pocket, I keep this pocket buttoned just so I don't lose this. This is a small little survival kit, very, very minimal, but I have a space blanket. I have some water collection bags, some water purification tablets, a lighter, and some tape. This isn't something that you will likely ever use, but if you need it and you don't have it kind of thing, then you're going to be, out of luck. So it's something that I always try to incorporate on all of my gear, is some way to carry some of that stuff. I've been fortunate enough to have some training in that kind of stuff. So since then, it's always been a big deal to me to have that kind of stuff on me. And I was very glad I did when I was doing that training. But that's all I keep in the back pockets. This is also nice because the width of these two, they kind of balance each other out. And I'm sure everyone here has dealt with sitting on one of these forever in the back of whatever the fuck. So kind of even yourself out, makes it a little more comfortable. That's all in the back pockets. On my left cargo pocket, I got a couple things. And if you're going to be keeping a couple things inside of pockets, you need to make sure that they're not going to make noise when you're taking steps. Like they're not going to rattle around with each other. So either some sort of like a retainer or an insert or something like that, or you just choose items that don't make noise, which is what I've done. So here I have a headlamp, something that like every infantryman is carrying, and it's probably right next to their compass in the other grenade pouch. Same thing I said about that, right? When you have grenades, where are you going to put your headlamp? So yeah, I just keep it inside of my cargo pocket. I keep the strap wrapped up with a Ranger band. Goes like that. I got a couple feet of 550 cord, probably like 15 feet. There's 1,000 uses for 550 cord. Every infantryman always has it like in their pack. I like to carry a little bit on me. I can't think of a lot of times where I've needed 550 cord like right now, but there has been a few. You could use that for maybe you need to fix your gear, like a buckle broke or something like that, or maybe you need to string up a field expedient antenna or something. But that's what that's for. This is a lens cleaning rag. If I were in a wetter environment, I'd probably keep this inside of a plastic bag. But yeah. Onto my right cargo pocket, and this is not new. I've been doing this for years. But instead of having a large admin pouch on your plate carrier, I've always told people to just get a little Right in the Rain folder and put all the stuff that you need inside of it. You can see that I replaced the zipper pull with some 550 cord so it doesn't jingle. But yeah, I got map pens, brief cards, protractors, cheat sheets, lens pen, calculator, pen pencil combination thing. One thing I'll say about this on protractors, if you spray your protractors with clear coat, the numbers won't rub off. I've had the same protractors for like 3 or 4 years. So just spray them with some clear coat, and then I usually go a step further and I cut out some sheet protector and I make a little pouch for them so they don't rub against each other. But I usually have at least 2 protractors on me, and then I have at least another 2 inside my ruck in a little admin field folder type thing. But yeah, something that I've been doing is I keep all of my briefs and things like that pertain to casualties on my kit, and all of my briefs that pertain to everything else in my pocket here. Just makes sense to me. Kind of new to that, but I've been liking it so far. So yes, keeping stuff in your pockets, important. A lot of guys are really not fans of it though. So if you're not, you could always use something like a fanny pack here. You know, if I really wanted to, I'm sure I could fit all this stuff inside here. I'd want to get a insert or something to keep stuff from jingling around. But, you know, you can figure this out on your own accord if it's something that you really want to do. I personally try to stay away from fanny packs just because I hate wearing fanny packs and belts. Not that I don't like fanny packs. I think they're great. I've used them a lot. But when I'm wearing, like if I have this belt on and then I have to put my outer belt on and then I have a fanny pack on too, like that's, I don't know, it just drives me nuts. And then especially I have a dangler on the front of my plate carrier too. So it's like I got dangler, fanny pack, and it just becomes too much. So you can spread a lot of this stuff out in your pockets. But if you don't like that, you could always do the fanny pack option. But so like I said in the beginning of the video, you should take a look at your kit, do what I did, pull all the shit out of it that isn't a magazine, I don't know, a knife, or like your grenade pouches and like your smoke grenades and things like that. Pull all that shit out and look at it and be like, does this need to be on my kit, or can I put this somewhere else? Because if you can do that, it's going to make your kit lighter. You could probably like remove some stuff off of your kit, like pouches that you had on there specifically to hold a flashlight or specifically to hold a multi-tool or a compass or something like that, right? And then overall, you know, it's going to be a little bit lighter, more streamlined. Like if I put all this stuff together in one hand and, you know, put it on the scale, I don't know what it would weigh, but I'm like, that is a good amount of gear that I just took off of my body. And granted, it's still like you're still carrying the total weight, right? It's because it's in your uniform, but it makes it feel better. Maybe it's placebo. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have questions, you can drop them down in the comments, or if you want to comment some things that you like to carry on you, that'd be great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.